Welcome back, friend. This is our reflector and evaluator type. So our reflectors, these are beautiful beings on this planet. Their whole role, their whole entire role is to just sample and let us know and let us, they're reflecting back to us how we're doing. They are evaluating, our progress. And their strategy is to wait 28 and a half days. Why do they need to do that? Well, they are absolutely connected with the lunar cycle. And the moon flies around very quickly, and it is going through 2.5 of these gates, the 64 gates of the mandala. It goes around 2.5 per day. So it's moving very quickly, and the reflector gets to listen to the connection that they have with the moon and the information packets that are being provided from that moon. They get locked into this cycle. It's very cyclical. And one of the reflectors that worked with Ra many, many years ago, and you worked with him right basically from the very beginning, once he had the ephemeris and was able to track the moon. Now you can do that very easily through mybodygraph.com. In those days, they actually had to do it with paper and pen. And being able to track the moon, he could sense how there was almost a switch. Now he can recognize that there's almost this little click, this switch that goes on as the moon goes around on the mandala. And 28 and a half days, like one cycle, may or may not suffice for a decision. So what will happen is the reflector or the evaluator is initiated into sharing their evaluation of the system. And if they jump in too quickly, they're going to be disappointed, because the 28 and a half days allows them to evaluate not only the situation that's happening, but also be able to then discuss the decision with trusted people in their lives. So there is no fixed definition here, and there's dormant, hanging gates or traits. And why is that? Because they're just waiting for the moon to bring the opposite, and then all of a sudden this definition brings them the wisdom. It's always about wisdom. So what they don't have in their chart, they're gaining so much wisdom. I have the honor of being in numerous classes with two very, 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 very profound reflectors. And I've had the honor as well of doing many readings for reflectors. And the wisdom that exudes from these people when they can objectively observe life, whoa. They are very, very, very powerful, and their aura is really resistant and sampling. So they're not here to be conditioned by you and me. They are here to take their, marching orders basically from the moon, and listen to the moon and listen to the initiation of the people. However, they get to listen to the moon indicating whether or not that decision is correct for them. So again, their strategy also creates a type, basically. So their strategy is this lunar cycle, which creates that reflector. So not having any definition is that reflector type. So who am I today, and can I be myself? So it's always in motion, but it is locked into a 28.5 to 29 day cycle, whatever the moon goes around. So it's not as though there isn't anything consistent there. There is a consistency month by month by month by month by month. And the fella that has been in design, for 30 years, he indicates like that is he can feel it. He can sense that movement, and he can sense what energy is being brought to him that day, so that he can then either take advantage of it, witness it, and then assist and evaluate whatever the situation is based off of that energy. So the signature here is actually surprise. The minute a reflector decides that they're going to jump in way before their 28.5-day cycle, they're always going to be disappointed. There's always going to be disappointment because spontaneity is not your end game. What you want to do is allow for the moon to absolutely surprise you, to bring you the beauty and the awesomeness that life really has in store for us. So as an evaluator, that resistant and sampling aura, your problem is that you're so unique, different, and often that you feel like you don't fit in, and you don't. You do not. Very similar to the manifestor, as I had indicated in that particular module. The manifestors also connected to the program, the transiting program, more so than they are with humans, because their aura is closed and repelling. The reflector is sampling and resistant. So both of them have this kind of Teflon outer coating where it's like, I just got to shed everybody off of my auric field. So you don't fit in. You're very similar to the manifestor, and actually the reflector and manifestor type work the best together, because the manifestor can get a clear reflection, an excellent evaluation as to, what needs to be initiated on this planet at this time. So the surprise comes from just allowing for the cycle to move through as it needs to. So the solution here is to realize that they are different than 99% of the population. Celebrate your uniqueness and take advantage of your rare gifts, like the profound wisdom that's flowing through here. Unbelievable. So as an evaluator, when you're in the right environment, you provide an objective assessment of people, communities, and business. Now please read that to yourself. The fourth and fifth words, right environment. The environment is so important for an evaluator. You have a totally unique perspective. You have the ability to reflect and gain an overview and can accurately evaluate how things are progressing or not. You are here to enliven and lift up the energy of others. You're very accepting of others and naturally help them see what is not working and gently guide them towards cooperation, peace, and equality. And the reflectors and evaluators that are a part of the classes that I take, they're my classmates. Wow. Cooperation, peace, and equality just exudes from their mouth. So that nonverbal presence, again, is sampling, resistant, and like Teflon. Your quiet, gentle, unimposing, and non-intrusive presence reflects the environment as a whole. So it may be difficult for others to fully get who you are, and you may feel very different from everyone else. It is important to realize that evaluators you're very unique and very rare. You're representing 1% of the population, and 99% of the population, are running amok. So all the other types have their purpose shine through them. You are the only type designed to reflect, sample, and often magnify everything and everyone around you, making it easy for you to see and evaluate what is healthy and what is not healthy within the environment. You have a unique connection to the cycles of the moon and can have a mystical life that most of us can never know or understand. It is very important that you take your time when making decisions, wait, reflect, discuss, and then engage. So how to best use your energy? You can best express your gifts when you are at the heart of the business community or at the center of the group. This allows you to move freely, sample, reflect on how things are working as a whole or not. You can be particularly effective as a group facilitator, again, because you're sampling, right? The projector is so honed in on the other person, you get to be in that group and just be like this beautiful disco ball, reflecting back to the group what is happening. You are here to be accepted of others, reflect the truth, and teach us how to embrace diversity. You operate with a completely different set of rules than the other types, so don't worry about trying to fit in. It's not what this is about. Own and appreciate your uniqueness. It is very important that you are in the right environment with the right community to thrive. You operate best when you stay neutral and remain unattached as the sampling observer. 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 Always observing. You have the potential to develop great wisdom in reflecting the truth. And you don't have a fixed identity. You can feel different depending on the environment and the people that you are in. So environment is so important. Wrong environment, wrong people. I have a nephew that is an evaluator and a reflector. And once he went to college and then moved on in life, he surrounded himself with the most educated people he could find. He still does that. And this kid is so wise. Like, the knowledge that exudes from him is like, it's unbelievable. You know, he went through college to get his computer engineering, and he also did a business minor, and like, holy man, he graduated with a 98% from university and was hired like immediately at one of the most prestigious computer companies on the planet, and, you know, doesn't have any debt because he was able to get scholarships the whole way through. Like, this kid made sure whatever environment he was in, he was surrounded with the most intelligent people. So how can you be taken off track being in the wrong environment with the wrong people, trying to be like everyone else? You know, you operate differently, so don't try to fit in. Become dependent or too attached to others that are around you, feeling like you're invisible and won't be included. This may cause you to do things that aren't true to you, or, you know, in order for you to get attention. Trying to initiate, manifest, and make things happen. This can cause resistance in others and create a lot of disappointment. Getting caught up in people's fears, emotions, and stress and anxiety. Identify too much with other people's pain. You know, being rushed and pressured to make decisions and at the mercy of other people around you. Now, my guess is this is most people's lives right here on this slide. Not only are reflectors, but most people. You're not here to initiate, you're here to be initiated. And what is beautiful is that you have this massive amount of wisdom that absolutely exudes from you because you are reflecting it. You get to be that absolutely objective being, you know, coaching people, guiding people, helping people, you know, get to their place of mastery, because really you're reflecting to them exactly what their shadows are saying, exactly what their strengths need to, you know, what strengths they need to hone in on. You get to do all of that. You know, you get to be in a group and facilitate this large group and bring in this cohesion of that group because you're there reflecting. Or it might not be cohesive. You know, you might be there to provoke them to absolutely see their shadow and to go into their own truth. Truth is mostly veiled for most people. And you get to reflect back to them, hey, the truth of what you're saying is here, and the words that are coming out of your mouth are trying to mask it. So you get to reflect that back to people in a very objective way. This isn't about being judgmental in any way, shape, or form. There's no judgment here. It's just helping humanity walk through this existence as humans. So if you're acting from the mind, of course, the mind always throws us off in things that we should do. It will make you second guess your personal truth and cause you to doubt yourself. You know, it gets you to, it gets quite anxious and impulsive and wants you to, you know, get things done, make things happen, you know, be seen, all of those kind of things. And it will put on blinders, and it will push you into decisions that are definitely not good for you, trying to fit in with the whole. Wait, reflect, and discuss. So you must wait to be initiated, meaning wait for the offer or invitation from others. You are not designed to initiate yourself. You will progress fully towards clarity by waiting about a month. You know, you want to wait that month. And then if it's 2 months, if it's 3 months, whatever it is, let those cycles of the moon go through and do what they need to do. You are designed to take your time, reflect on what is correct for you or not, and discuss the options with others, not for advice, but to articulate your own thoughts and hear your own potential truth. Your perceptions will change and be refined over time to bring clarity to your decisions. You will know suddenly, deep inside, if the offer is right for you or not. So here's an example. The one fella that's in class with me, there was a board of this board for a not-for-profit group, and they had asked him to come and sit on the board and, you know, be that objective observer. And, you know, he waited. It was a no. And then 6 months later, they came back to him. Said, you know, we're really, really requiring someone that can just provide us with this wisdom. And again, he waited his month. And that second time, it was actually a yes. He moved on there. He became a part of the board and absolutely loved it. So what I want you to understand is that no matter how you look at all these mechanics in human design, it's always about timing. It's always about timing. And just because it's a no today doesn't mean that it's not a yes down the road. And just because it's a yes today doesn't mean that by the time the event comes, it's not going to be a no. And that's for everyone. So when people talk about changing your mind, it's about no. Pay attention to the energy of the body and know. Know your energy so deeply that nobody can pull you off your game. So here is just an example of a pattern. So, you know, as the moon goes through, so for example, here's our reflector, here's the transit on this particular day. So as the moon goes through, it is highlighting, but also all the transits are highlighting, okay? So it's not only the moon, but it's all of them. But the moon is the decision maker. Excuse me, that cycle of the moon is that decision maker. And then what can happen is that you can actually track it, watch it move from gate to gate to gate, so that as it moves through, you can then go, oh, okay, it's here, and the next time it's going to bring you a connection, then you get to hone in on that information. But, you know, on this day, it's in the 60th gate. So what kind of wisdom is being brought to you through this limitation? through this mutative energy, this limitation that's happening here? What's the wisdom? So maybe it shows up as a person having a conversation. Maybe it shows up as a blog article that pops into your email. Maybe it shows up as a post on your social media. Or maybe in meditation, there's this deep, profound wisdom that drops into your system. So I can't tell you how this is going to look for you. But again, what I can give you is the mechanics so that you can begin to track the moon. Go to mybodygraph.com, and every single day you can track the transits. I believe it is actually a purchased piece of that software program. But you can pay for the transit, and then you can put your chart in there and absolutely watch where the moon is, and map it out for months and months and months and months and months ahead, and then just watch it and reflect on it and see, okay, this is what this brings me, and this is what this brings me, and then the important piece is we're always evolving. So this month, the conversation about limitation and mutative energy might look totally different than the conversation you're going to have next month. Again, it's, the evolution of humanity is this spiraling movement, very similar to our DNA. We're kind of going around in the same gig, but we're moving up and spiraling up. It's like a spiraling staircase, our DNA, whatever you want to look at, however you want to look at that. And that movement provides us with a new nuance per month. So again, it's about sampling. They're not getting in. The other person isn't getting in. They're asking you, or they're inviting you, or, they're initiating you to come and be involved. Because, who is different? You're sampling all of this. What is happening in the world? What is happening? And you get to reflect that back. Who is different? What's different about this being or that being, and how is it that I can guide them or help them or reflect back to them, where they are? And of course, that all comes from people initiating you to do that. So the lunar authority. The moon is your authority. So you're totally different than anybody else. So you must have trustworthy advisors and discuss your situation or potential decision while waiting a full cycle of the moon. Through hearing your own talk about the potential decision, you come to a place of clarity. Now, this isn't, per se emotional clarity, but it's just this, it's a visceral. The whole entire body has this sense of, there it is. There's the clarity that I needed to get to in order to either enter in to the interaction or not. So the key here is to always slow down. Take your time making decisions. Waiting about a month or more, if possible, is ideal for making big decisions. It is important to pay attention to your environment. Being in a place that feels good with people you feel good with is imperative to your well-being. While you are waiting, reflect on the decision and discuss it with others. It is important for you to have a trusted confidant, trusted confidants, more than one, with whom you can discuss any situation or decision. Remember, it is not about getting advice. It is about, using these people as sounding boards so you can articulate your thoughts, your feelings, your identity, all of this. Because it's always like, well, who am I? Well, you are the universe. You are it. So articulating the profundity of what's happening is so important. You must hear yourself talk over time and be able to hear and feel your truth, and you will suddenly have a deep inner sense of knowing that a decision is correct for you or not. Always, right time, right decision, right time. And never, ever, ever, ever feel as though, and this goes for everybody, it is okay that the decision may change over time. So here's an example. I'm an express builder. I'm a manifesting generator. I might say yes to something. The body might move into something because at the moment it has the energy. And a week down the road, the energy may have been depleted, and what I could contribute is done. So it's about honoring that and pulling out of it. So as a reflector, you have a finite amount of energy. Having a very simplified life will definitely assist you. And you have this very, finite amount of energy. So even though it was a yes, it may not last forever. And maybe it's a no today, but it's a yes 2 months from now. And that is what I love about design, is that it says, it's okay. Here's your permission slip. Don't push yourself. Just pay attention to what the physical body needs and heal and repair that physical body, and then come from life from a completely different aspect. This isn't the mental plane that we're coming from. We're coming from the material, meat, bubble of biology suit that we are, operating with. That's what's having the interaction. All right. Next, we will chat about profiles.